Hey guys, welcome to the first episode. I'm not sure yet how often I'm going to do this, but we will see how things go. The gameplay in the background is me failing at Tribes Ascend. I need more practice, but it is still tons of fun. First off, there seems to finally be some decent information about NVIDIA's Kepler GPUs, specifically the GeForce GTX 680. The new codename Kepler GPUs will be based off of a 28nm architecture, but that is something we have known for some time now. What is interesting is that we have found out some of the 600 series models will have a technology similar to Intel's Turbo Boost. So instead of having a idle 2D and 3D clocks, it will clock according to GPU load. It seems it can even overclock itself to some degree. The GK104 chips will also feature 1536 CUDA cores, for those of you out there that need serious number crunching. The GTX 680 is also 10% faster than the Radeon HD 7970 in Battlefield 3, but is slower than it in 3D Mark 11. But what you really want to know is when will you be seeing these GPUs? Well, the GTX 680 could launch as soon as this month, with a GK107 mid-range GPU being launched as early as April. NVIDIA is also planning on releasing a dual GPU card based on the GK104 that should be available around May. Lastly, the GK110, the top dog in the Kepler family, will feature as many as 2,304 CUDA cores. But sadly, I do not expect to see that card anytime soon. Now for the speculation. I predict that the Kepler GPUs will come out very similar to the way that the Fermi cards did. I would compare the GTX 680 to the GTX 480, then the GK110 aka GTX 780 to the current GTX 580. In other hardware news, ASUS releases details on their Z77 Republic of Gamers Maximus 5 formula, with some very interesting features along with supporting Ivy Bridge and Sandy Bridge LGA 1155 CPUs. I will throw up some pics as I talk. First of all, the basic stuff. The motherboard will have 4 DIMM slots that will support 32GB of dual channel memory that can be overclocked up to 2600 MHz. It will also feature 2 PCIe 16x 3.0 slots that when both populated will run at 8x8x, along with one open-ended PCIe 2.0 4x slot. Open-ended meaning that you can put any card in the slot, it will just not run at anything more than 4x. Along with that slot, it will also have a PCIe 2.0 16x slot that is wired to only support 4x. Lastly, it'll have 3 other PCIe 2.0 1x slots. Moving along to the back I/O, the Maximus 5 formula will have from left to right a reset switch, Wi-Fi module, a ROG connect button, 3 USB 2.0 ports, 1 Republic of Gamers Connect USB port, 1 eSATA port, 2 USB 3 ports, a digital optical audio port, HDMI port, display port, gigabit Ethernet, 2 more USB 3.0 ports, and then the rear audio ports. Now on to the really interesting stuff that you might have already noticed. First, it features Thunder FX audio that consists of a high-grade DAC and amp that is ground isolated, as you can see by the yellow line on the back of the motherboard. There is also a built-in dual-band Wi-Fi module that we looked at earlier. So yes, this motherboard supports both 2.4 and 5 GHz Wi-Fi out of the box. But that's not all. Saving the best for last, this motherboard also supports VRM water cooling out of the box, so no more $100 plus water blocks. I'm not sure if you are able to replace the barbs yet, but this is a huge step in the right direction in my opinion. And for those wondering, the Z77 chipset, you really only need to water cool the CPU and the CPU VRM for extreme overclocking, since the Z77 PCH is just a glorified Southbridge that does not get hot enough to break your overclock. In software, it looks like there is an official native Android app coming that will support both smartphones and tablets. Now, just to be clear, this is not a uTorrent remote. This is a fully functional uTorrent client. This is mainly due to the rapid increase in smartphone and tablet PC usage. But at this point, there is no ETA. Besides the Android app, they are finally working on a Linux client they promised back in 2010, but put on hold as the core uTorrent client had evolved considerably since the original plan. As for those that are watching wondering, what about iOS devices, there is no plans for an iOS uTorrent client, as Apple notoriously bans anything they don't like and argues that BitTorrent is often used to infringe copyrights. Now for those that don't know, Windows 8 Customer Preview is available for download. So what does Windows 8 hold for us power users, you ask? Well, not much. Don't get me wrong, there are a few really nice features in there, but I don't think that it's worth upgrading unless you can get it for cheap. I feel Windows 8 is mostly Microsoft's attempt at not falling behind in the tablet PC scene. So for features, we finally get better multi-monitor support, native USB 3.0 support, much faster boot times, I've been told 8 seconds. SSD users, I am looking at you. Better battery life for laptops. Factory reset. Yes, just like a smartphone. Improved task manager, and it uses less RAM. From a list of over 300 new features, those are the only ones that really caught my eye. Every other big feature is to support touch devices. Now on to some gaming news. Gabe Newell, the big man over at Valve and Steam, has become the world's 854th richest man. Thanks to Valve's sales in 2011 and the help of the ever-growing Steam, Gabe's net worth is now $1.5 billion, which places him among the 1,225 other billionaires. It now seems that Blizzard is fully aware that World of Warcraft is going downhill from here on out, as they have buffed the bejeezus out of the Scroll of Resurrection. Before, it just let a retired friend come back to play for a bit, but now you'll get all kinds of other bonuses. Now the returning player will get one character buffed directly to level 80, give them 7 days of playtime, a free realm and faction transfer, but that is not all. You will also get a free upgrade to Cataclysm. Now that almost makes me want to fire up my Warlock again. So who of you have played Duke Nukem Forever and wish you could get that awful taste out of your mouth? Well, your chance is coming up as Duke Nukem is back again, but wait, this time it is sure not to suck as Duke Nukem 3D is getting a remake. Here are the details. It will be made using the Unreal Engine 3. The game will have 16-player multiplayer, with modes called Duke Match, Capture the Babe, and a play on Horde, if you catch my drift. You will be allowed to play as Duke, General Graves, Assault Trooper, and Pig Cop. There's also a multiplayer demo coming up that will offer 2 maps, 7 weapons, and 4 playable characters. Hope you enjoyed this episode and subscribe for more nerd, geek, and tech news. Also computer tips, software overviews, and tweaks.